Here's the thing about advice. Everyone's got it, and they're usually more than willing to share it. But what most people don't tell you is that you are the one who has to pay the price if it turns out to be wrong. Family and friends generally mean well. They love you and they want what's best for you. But let's be honest, they may not always have the qualifications or experience to give the best advice, especially when it comes to very personal or situational decisions. On the other hand, the people who do have the qualifications, whether it's professors, advisors, or industry experts, they aren't always thinking about what's best for you. That's just the reality. Take professors, for example. They're incredibly smart and often brilliant in their field, but they have their own goals. And let's not sugarcoat it, professors don't recruit Ph.D. candidates because they're looking to help students achieve their personal dreams. They bring you on because you're a valuable resource to help them accomplish their research goals. That's not a criticism of professors, it's just how the system works. Think about it. How often have you seen a professor advise a Ph.D. student to pursue something that's in the student's best interest, even if it's not aligned with the lab's research focus? Probably not too often, if ever. And it's not because professors are malicious, it's just that their priority is the success of their own work. So you have to be cautious when taking advice, especially when the person giving it stands to benefit from you following it. Now for the all-important question. How do you figure out what advice to follow and what advice to discard? Unfortunately, there's no exact formula, but I do follow a simple process that's helped me make better decisions along the way. First and foremost, remember that you are the one who bears the consequences. If you take the wrong advice, no one else is going to shoulder the burden. If you end up hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt with a worthless degree because you followed the advice of someone you trusted, even if they had the best intentions, that's on you. No one's going to come and bail you out. Time lost is lost forever. Internalizing that fact can help you pause before blindly following any piece of advice. You don't want to lose years of time, effort, or finances over a decision someone else convinced you to make. This brings me to the second step. Use critical thinking. This is something you're probably already good at, but it's easy to let it slide when someone with more experience or authority is talking. Just because the advice comes from a professor or an expert doesn't mean it's flawless. Think through the advice logically. Does it make sense for your goals, for your situation? If something doesn't add up, don't hesitate to ask questions. If you're being pushed to take a direction that seems risky or unclear, be it in your career choice, investments, relationships, or whatever, dig into why. Can they explain the reasoning behind their advice? Are they addressing the concerns you're worried about? If not, that's a red flag. The next step is to consider the interests of the person giving the advice. For example, if your professor is encouraging you to extend your research timeline by a year, is it really because it's better for your career, or is it because that's what would be best for the lab? Now, in an academic setting, you always hope that following the advice of a professor is in the best interest of both parties, but unfortunately, this simply isn't always the case. And evaluating this is easier said than done because we can't predict and compare the consequences of both decisions. Now, in my personal experience, at least when it comes to a professor's advice, the more adamant they are that you follow their advice, the more it tends to benefit them than you. I find that the best advice typically comes from those who calmly explain several options, weigh out the pros and cons of each decision, justify their own recommendation, and then give you the flexibility to make your own decision without pressure. But regardless of what decisions you ultimately make, be cautious of when the advice benefits the person giving it as much as or more than it benefits you. And lastly, look at the qualifications of the person advising you. Are they really qualified to be giving you this advice? Take career advice, for example. Your professor might be brilliant in their field, but they've spent their whole life in academia and you're thinking about transitioning into industry. Are they the best person to guide you on that? Jay-Z famously said, "I don't take financial advice from those who don't have as much money as me." It's a good principle. If the person giving you advice hasn't successfully navigated the path you want to take, be cautious. Seek advice from people who are already where you want to go, or who have a proven track record of success in that area. In the end, no one can tell you exactly what to do, but you can make smarter decisions by being mindful of who you listen to, why they're giving the advice, and whether or not it truly aligns with your goals. I hope you found this information useful, and if there's anything I missed, please let me know in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching.